Hey, yo, what up? It's your boy Saigon, and we here Nothing Is Off the Record podcast on Vlad TV. And you know, me and my man HAVOC, we doing it big. He all black again, blacked out,
Every day.
Mob Deep. You know how we do it. You know what I'm saying? We got a special guest today, man. This guest today, bro. This is a special story, and like we said, nothing is off the record. We ain't holding no punches. This is something crazy. Got my brother Brooklyn all day, stand up. Oh man, special day. Sycamore, man.
So I appreciate you having me.
Sycamore, man. Yeah, I don't get Sycamore. We get Sycamore. Nothing is off the record, man. How you feeling, my brother?
I feel good, man. I'm feeling
Looking good,
feeling
man.
blessed. I'm healthy.
Yeah, you look good, man. You put on some weight. You look strong.
Yeah, I'm drinking my Sagiri on. You know what I'm saying?
You look strong, man. So let's for the people that don't know, right? I know your story transcends a lot of different things because you came in the game as one thing and transcended to more things, which we're gonna get into. But tell a little people about where you from, where you grew up, like a little bit about yourself.
Okay. I was born in Port of Spain, Trinidad and Tobago. You know, my whole family's from Trinidad. We was all born there. And came to New York when I was 5. My dad had an apartment in the Bronx on Cedric Avenue, 2285 Cedric Avenue.
Cedric, hip hop.
Yeah, he's not a hip hop head at all. It's a coincidence. But
yeah.
And then my mom came up like a year later, and then she moved to Brooklyn. So I moved to Brooklyn when I was 6. And, you know, I grew up in a house with a lot of calypso, a lot of soca,
Right.
you know. And then my big sister was a big music head. She loved like New Jack Swing. She loved like Jodeci, Boyz II Men, but then she loved like gangster rappers. So she loved Onyx.
Oh shit.
Naughty by Nature.
Oh shit.
You know what I'm saying? Tupac. You know what I'm saying?
Having the ball team. It's like that was my era. That was kind of the era.
She like all ball niggas, all ball gangsters. You know what I'm saying?
Ballhead gangsters?
Ballhead gangsters.
Oh shit. HAVOC.
So then coming up there, like we grew up in Crown Heights, Flatbush. That's where all the Caribbean people would go.
Right.
And then, you know, I was just kind of like just a normal kid doing, you know, I was into baseball and like basketball cards and different things. And then when I was in high school, I had like a thing of CDs and I'd have all kind of albums. I'd have everything from like Chronic 2001, the original Chronic, Infamous, like anything in there. So people would know to come to me for like my CD book and I'd burn them CDs. And I kind of, you know, a lot of times like life is based around like, sometimes it should just be timing, you know, because when I was coming up, it was also the beginning of technology. So like around the early 2000s, it was like Napster,
Right.
Kazaa, all the BitTorrents, and the mixtape game.
Internet started to come
So
on.
like, yeah, we always had a computer. We didn't have a lot of money, but we always had a computer. And like, I knew how to get on the internet young and early, downloading all these things, being in chat rooms like SOHH and Boxton and all these type of things. You know what I'm saying? Online lyrics archives and all these. I was just like, you know, hip hop.
OK Player.
OK Player.
OK Player. That was the one I liked. That was the OK Player. Underground backpack shit.
And like, you know, growing up, I liked like a lot of lyricists. Like I love like Cannabis and DMX, Jay-Z. You know what I'm saying? I love Jay because he was around. Like I had this Cannabis versus Nori versus DMX freestyle tape, but it was all like freestyle for like 45 minutes one time. And that was probably like, it was Spotify that would have been my most played. And then from there, when I was making tapes for people, I would make these custom CDs. So you would give me like a list and be like, all right, give me these songs and I'll burn it for you. And I'd add a couple other songs on there if you couldn't think of something. It'll fit about 13 songs. And I would sign it and then I would sell it to students for like $5 and I would sell it to teachers for like $10. And then, so one day, like,
the hustle.
And I went to
It's that West Indian hustle.
because you know they put you out the house. I got my working papers like at 14.
It's a working papers.
Fucking right.
As soon as you get those, mama love, like you can go get a gig.
So I started. My school was like a alternative school. I guess they call them charter schools now.
Yeah.
And then like I started getting these jobs like I got like Prospect Park Alliance, like a nonprofit. Then I got like another internship. This is all in high school, like Fox News Channel. I got another internship at Goldman Sachs. I was like a Republican damn near, like with all the different internships I was getting.
Right.
And then finally, I got my dream job. I got accepted to Nike Town. You know what I'm saying?
I can tell.
I'm a senior in high school. I'm ready to go. I'm like, I'm getting 30% off sneakers. It's over.
Sneakers, yeah.
Yeah, so I went to like the interview like the end of August. I got a letter like September 8th saying I got the job. Then September 11th happened.
Oh, shit.
Oh,
Damn.
killed your dream, crushed your dream.
About September 18th, they was like, nah, we putting a freeze.
Right.
About middle of October, they were like, nah, it's just,
It's a wrap.
it's over.
Damn.
So I was like, at that point, I was like, all right, I can't let nobody control my destiny.
Right.
So my friend Terrence, he lived on the 3rd floor, and I lived on the 5th floor at Ebbets Field.
Oh, atmosphere. Oh, wow.
And he's like, yo, I can show you a place to go make your CDs. So he just make one, I'll come show you. And he showed me like Canal Street. So I went home, I made a CD called Anthrax on Wax. And I put like I got like an exclusive like.
That's when the Anthrax things was happening in the mail. And it was all over the news, right?
Mhm.
Anthrax.
I had like
remember that?
Nah, I
Niggas
remember
was scared
that.
to open their mail, like,
Yeah.
yo, it might have anthrax in it.
I had like a picture of the U.S. Postal Service on there. And like, I made 30 copies. And I took 10 to Canal Street, and they bought it for like $20. And I was telling them, yo, I'm popping uptown. Like, you know, you go to Harlem, I'm going crazy.
Right.
Then I went downtown Brooklyn. I took the train one stop from Canal Street to DeKalb. I went to Balgan Bazaar. And I'm like, yo, I'm going crazy in the Bronx, you know what I'm saying?
You better don't be late.
Mhm.
Don't be late.
So he bought like 15. And then I had my phone number, my house number on there. 'Cause my dad had like a separate work phone. So I made that as like my work number. And I got kicked out of my house in Brooklyn at that time. So I was living all the way on Fordham Road in the Bronx, back on Sedgwick.
Wait a minute. What you get kicked out your house for?
You know, arguing, you know, you coming up. Because my parents weren't together. So,
Right,
so
right.
it's like, you know, when you argue with Caribbean parents, they're not trying to, first thing they're doing is calling the cops on you.
Right.
They're like, not in my house, you know?
Right.
So I had to, my school was still downtown Brooklyn. So it's like an hour and a half ride every day. So all I do is like listen to music and read. So I just got really, really adapt to making, you know, because back then there was no streaming. You can't just listen to anything. You had to literally buy the album if you want to listen to it.
Right.
So I got a call like the next day from Brooklyn. He's like, yo, the CD sold out. I need 100 copies.
Damn.
And
The Anthrax on Wax.
and so I went to Nobody Beats the Wiz at the time. And I sat for 3 days because the CDs would burn once every 20 minutes.
Yeah, that shit took
It took 20 minutes just to burn one CD.
CD burner, yeah.
So
The CD burner. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, so that's 3 CDs an hour. So you know what I'm saying? That shit was
Damn.
slow. You know, and on my father's computer, Wi-Fi. I'm not going 24-hour shifts. So 3 days later, I come with 100 CDs. And he says, yo, what happened? I needed this 3 days ago. And he's like, anyway, here it is. He gave me $250 and that was it. I never looked back.
So it's
Damn.
funny because, you know, we on Vlad TV. And it's funny because this was the time Vlad was doing mixtape as well.
Oh yeah, Vlad was outside.
Yeah, Vlad was outside.
Vlad came to my house before.
Yeah.
In Ebbets Field.
He did, yeah.
Yeah.
So Vlad knew you was young. Like I know Vlad from mixtape DJ.
Mhm.
That's why when people be like, "Yo, you rocking with Vlad?" I'm like, "Bro, you know how much support I got from Vlad when I was out here trying to grind, trying to, you know what I mean, be a rapper." A lot of mixtape DJs that started at that point, they started to become like a little popular, so they would get like kind of bougie and shit. Didn't want to play him like, nah, they ain't like that. I'm like, Vlad never was on that shit. He was like, if it's dope, I'll play it. Like I don't care if you sign. Certain artists was like, you gotta have a record deal for me to play your shit. Like, bro, well, that's the point, for you to help me get a record deal. Well, I need a record deal to be on, you a mixtape, you in the streets. And so Vlad, I know you and Vlad we met through Vlad. I don't know if you know that.
We did.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
yeah, we met through Vlad.
Cause he did that tape.
Yeah,
Yeah, I thought we met through Gotti, but it was Vlad.
and that was Vlad. It was
Mhm.
Vlad. We met through Vlad.
Yeah.
It was just crazy. And one thing about what you became famous for, and I wanted to get into this because you had the idea. To me, in hindsight, when you did it, I didn't know what you was going, but now in hindsight, I'm like, this shit made perfect sense. Your mixtapes went from, like you said, Anthrax on Wax to just all being instrumental.
I would do instrumentals because I saw like there was a void in the market. And I was really inspired by like this DJ named DJ Boom. He was really local in Brooklyn. He never really made that big.
remember DJ Boom.
But his covers are so hard.
Yeah, I
you
remember
know what I
DJ
mean?
Boom.
And I remember I bumped into him one time and I looked, to me, it was like Boom and Clue. And like Boom was just like everything to me. You know what I'm saying? I might have been 16, 17. Boom might have been like 19.
Yeah, he was young. Yeah,
But
I
to
remember.
me, he was like the God, you know? And he just like always showed me love and gave me like, you know, positive words and shit. And I said, I'm gonna go for it. I'm gonna do instrumentals like him. And I liked the way he did it because his shit was real clean, great artwork. He was managed by two people that I'm still cool with up to this day, Ferris Bueller.
Oh yeah,
you know what I'm
Ferris
saying?
Bueller too. Yeah.
And Plain Pat.
Yeah.
You know
Plain
who
Pat when they went on to do great things, man.
And that was the squad. You know what I'm saying? So it was just great seeing that. And with Vlad, it was like Vlad's story's sick because he came over. He came from like the tech boom.
Yeah.
Like when they had the tech bubble crash, he was like a entrepreneur out there in SF.
In San Francisco, right?
Yeah, like the .com era.
Yeah, Vlad's super smart.
And then flipped it to the mixtape game. So you mixed like the tech from SF with the Bay Area hustle, independent game, with the New York City mixtape game, and you get Vlad.
Oh, that's an ill way to put it, man. So do you remember them tapes? Because I remember hearing dudes' demos, and I used to, this is how I even got up on you, because I didn't know about you until I was hearing dudes' rhymes, and I would hear Sickamore while they rhyming. And I'm like, what is why does 10 different rappers have Sycamore on their songs? And I didn't know what it was, but I guess that was your drop, right? That was your drop.
And that's why I got cool with
where
producers.
does that word Sycamore, the name Sycamore, where did that come from?
That's Biggie. With my Sycamore style, more sicker than yours.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I just changed the spelling. I just ran
I
with
thought
it.
you got it from the Sycamore, under the Sycamore tree.
Nah, I like Lady Soul, but I got Biggie for sure.
Oh.
Like Biggie, my favorite rapper ever. You know what I'm saying? Just far as just like his storytelling, his rhyme scheme, how cool he was. You know what I'm saying? Like he my favorite, and I think like that was kind of like my old like okay cool like I'm Sycamore like big. You know what I mean? So it was almost like he didn't name me, like he didn't give me that name, but I just took it and that became like my joint. That's my
Sycamore.
tag.
Dope.
I just ran with it. You know what I'm saying?
Did you ever want to be a producer?
I should have, because I remember at one point I went by these guys Dugia's house, right? And they was willing to sit there and teach me like the whole producing game, and I would find loops and stuff, and I'll go to like A1 or 6th and try to find like baked beats and stuff, and then I ended up getting into the A&R game and kind of fell in love with that, and I just kind of ran with that, because people would always tell me like, yo, you should do A&R. So like at B Street Records, downtown Brooklyn, you know what I'm saying?
B Street.
There was a guy, I think his name was Gary, and he was the one who gave me my first like A&R job. He had like a record company there, and he gave me like an office, and I used to go to the studio, like, you know what I'm saying?
So from B Street Records. So was that before the mixtape?
This is why I'm doing mixtapes. Yeah, so they pay, he say, yo, you want an A&R job? I'm like, how much does it pay? He like $600 a week. I'm like, all right, what does A&R do?
So now, pause right there, because that's something I wanted to get into, because a lot of artists and a lot of fans are like, we hear the word A&R, we don't know what it means. And I met you early at the time where I didn't know what an A&R was. I knew that just for me being a hip hop head, like watching Mobb Deep come up, Matt Life and Scott Free, I knew they were A&Rs, and I just was like, damn, whatever. I just need to get next to them, because you just knew an A&R could change your life if you could rap or get you a record deal.
Right.
This was the thing. We didn't know what it stood for, what it meant. Artist and repertoire, we didn't know what the fuck that meant. It's like, it's just, you need to get in touch with an A&R. And I met you, when I met you, I was still green in the street, bugging, trying to be a rapper, just getting home from prison, running around with True Life, and I remember I linked y'all and was like, yo, this kid, we gotta make this True Life thing, the Saigon True Life thing work. And then beef started to get in the way. And I remember you was one of the ones that was like, bro, and you were young, you were a teenager, and I was older than you, but you always said, bro, if you're gonna be serious about this shit, you gotta keep your focus. You gotta treat it like you serious about it. And I was on the fence. We were all on the fence because we was in the street every day doing street shit. And there's been so much shit that happened. So when me and you start to connect, do you remember when you first heard my music at all?
Yeah, it was a Harlem Music Hut, right, on 125th.
Everything, bro.
You know what I'm saying? Underneath the train, whatever that train is down there. And I always had a good relationship with Gotti.
Gotti from the Source, yeah.
And I don't know.
Shout out to Gotti, man, my boy.
Shout out to Gotti.
He up at Sony. He work at Sony.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Fire.
Yeah, he up at Sony. Like, y'all all went and did great things.
What's his name? Jonathan
Banano.
Banano now. No more Gotti.
His name was Banano, but he called himself Gotti. I'm like, bro, you got two crime families mixed up. You got the Bananos and the Gambinos. Yeah.
And I think he was either him or Vlad, but I think it was Gotti, and we was talking at Harlem Music Hut, and the Y'all Father Part 1 was out.
Yeah, K Slay.
You know what I'm saying? He really put me onto it. And I went in the car and I listened to it, and I thought the shit was so hard. And that was around the time I was doing the A&R for like Beach Street. And then I had a plug at this thing called Unique Sports. So this is like 2003 now. You know what I'm saying? So like you remember like when everybody was wearing like them track suits with the basketball patches.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I had to connect there, Stalin Dean, shout out my boy Rikers. And I had to connect.
Shout out to Rikers. Yeah, right, yeah.
And I had a connect at Unique Sports. So I used to give out clothes. That was my entry point. So I forgot how I forgot how I had a relationship with Just. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I didn't know that.
You know what? I gotta really think about it. I forgot who introduced me to Just. But
Just
like
Blaze. Just Blaze, you mean Just Blaze.
Just Blaze. And I wanted to build a relationship with him, so I know he's going like on the Rock the Mic tour. So somehow I got him mad gear because I knew he liked shit like that. I just got him mad clothes.
Yeah.
And then when you got like when you trying to like build a relationship with somebody as like a mentor or something, you just gotta be aggressive. You know what I'm saying? You gotta just like damn near be annoying, always showing up, just offering your services. You know what I'm just saying? Like yo, like
crazy,
whatever you gotta do. So one time, you know, I built a rapport with him, and then I realized I was just looking around because you know when you just looking at opportunities. So I'm like, he just took me up to Baseline, and like it was just a studio in there, and it was just like, God damn, like you know what I'm saying? Like you own this studio? He like, yeah. And I'm just like, what you doing in here? Ain't nobody here. You do it. I'm like, yo, you should start a label.
You said nobody here.
No, for real. Like he was still a big producer, so he don't need nobody there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I'm like, I looked at it as an opportunity for myself. So I'm like, yo, you should start a label. You know what I mean? And then I can be the A&R, and we can run it up. And I'm just like putting this in, like, cause this is really my dream. I'm just like putting it on him.
Right.
And he like, well,
thank you. Thank you again.
So then he like, all right. And I'm like, he's like, all right, well, we could do it and you could be an A&R, but we can't, you got to find me an artist, one. And then he said, two, you gotta find me an artist and you can't get no money until we get like a distribution deal. And I was like, bet, right? I didn't know what a distribution deal was. But I was like, oh no, he said overhead. That's what it was. So we got overhead, and I'm like, bet. But I didn't know what that meant. I knew I needed to find an artist.
Like whatever.
Artist. So you were the first phone call I made.
I remember that phone call.
Before I made that phone call,
I
played him your music. I played him like 8 or 9 songs. And then he really
wait. Saigon already had like a demo? Like
he had the Y'all Father Part 1 now. Still by K Slay.
Who did the mixtape for you?
K Slay.
Oh, okay.
Rest in peace, K Slay, Drama King.
Rest in peace to the Drama King.
Okay.
The Drama King always
you know, me and K Slay had beef in the beginning. Like we had like I tried to kick his door down. Really? He tells the story of the time, yeah. Cause he wouldn't listen to the music in front of me. All because I wanted him to hit.
Wow, boy.
He took my CD. It was like, I got you. So I'm like, you're not gonna listen to it right now? And he was like, nah, I'll get to it. And I lost my head.
You kicked his like throw it down in the car, or you went to like El Barrio?
Yeah, I went to El Barrio. Yeah, he's all of them. Don't catch the key. Right, God bless him. From that point, that actually got us close. Like if I didn't do that, I probably would have just been another rapper.
But that's you being aggressive. You got to be aggressive for your own career.
Yeah, I was aggressive. Yeah, I was like, motherfucker. He's like, what's wrong with this little nigga? And me and him became like this. And then that's when he did the tape after that. He was like, not only am I gonna help you, because you got a lot of music, I'll host a mixtape for you. And shout out to Drama King K Slay, man. The culture lost a major, I don't want to sidetrack, but we lost a major part of one of the people that still cared about the culture of hip hop.
He's a DJ King, a graph king.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
graffiti, DJ.
Like he's just pure. And the thing, like even like when I first started calling, like I had like a record store in Brooklyn when I was like maybe like a year before. Like it was a barbershop, and this guy Jude, he allowed me to have like, I just saw opportunity there because I was like, yo, there's 2 high schools down there. It's like Clara Barton and Prospect Heights. If they come down here, like they gonna come in the store, they gonna buy CDs. Ain't no music shops around here. So I came to the store like, yo, how much to rent a booth in your store? And he was like, get the fuck out the store, man. Like I'm like 16 years old. And I came back with like a bag. I got like a sponsor from the church. And he was like, yo, how
To
much?
the church.
Nah,
Give
give me $2,000, Brother
He should have
Williams.
sponsored for Brother Williams in the
Yeah,
church.
for investment in the joint, you know, because he saw like I had an opportunity.
Right,
And I
right.
came back again. He's like, well, how much? I want a booth in here. How much? He said $600 a month. And I did the math, and I had $2,000. So I gave him first and last. I'm like, I'm ready to go. I spent the other rest of the money. I started at LLC, and I bought a bunch of CDs. Like whenever Ashanti's album was out at that time, that was around that time. And then the kids didn't really come to the store like that, but I built relationships. And I was like, all right, I don't really gotta, people ain't gonna come in here and buy real albums, but they'll come and buy mixtapes. So, you know, I called my man AG, you know what I'm saying, from Brooklyn. He came and dropped off because he was distributing for Clinton Sparks.
Yeah,
and I called K Slay number in the back of the CD. And he's like one of the biggest mixtape DJs at the time. He just dropped Ether and shit, you know what I mean? And he really called me back. And he was like talking to me. I'm like, oh wow, like, and that's goes to your point, like between like me and El Barrio, like him responding to my call, he was accessible. And that was like that's all you really need sometimes in community. You just need somebody with a little bit of hope that's really gonna get touched.
I remember that call when you called me about Just Blaze.
Oh no, I gotta tell you the other side of it. So we was in baseline, so we in the lounge and in a little speaker playing music, and I'm playing songs, and I play Come Again. And he was like, all right, yeah, he's hard, let's bring him in. And I called you and I was like, this is like, you know what I mean? Like, you ever seen like the Biggie movie, like Tell Puff and Down Chasing the Dream? I was calling you like, I was practicing that call.
Yeah, I remember that.
And I was just like, yo, man, Just Blaze like your music. You come to baseline?
Yeah.
And you was right in Jersey?
I was in Jersey. I was going home. And I turned that car around so fast. He's like, you could be in 40 minutes. They was on 26th Street. I said, bro, he's like, you gotta be here quick though. Like, I don't know if you was you was gassing it or what. He was like, you gotta be here in such and such time. Cause I remember us burning through lights. Niggas is like, we about to go meet Just Blaze. I was like, nah, this can't be happening. I'm like, fucking Sycamore. And we go there to meet, and then I start playing the music. And I remember that night he gave me 5 beats. He was like, I want to do the deal. He's
How
like,
was
I
the
like
beats
you.
though?
Fire. This is the ill shit. The nigga was like, I like you, but I need to see how you sound over my production. He was like, you sound good on.
Right.
Cause I had worked with Alchemist. I had
Right.
met niggas by just grinding. And he was like, I want to hear how you sound on my production. That's what it's gonna be if we got a marriage. He gave me 5 beats. I wanted to impress him, so I took them shits to the studio and did 5 songs. I did all 5 beats that night, because I wanted to be like, I'm gonna show him I work fast and turn it around.
The night that Sickamore brought you down there.
Yep.
Are you recording that night too?
Nah, I recorded them the next day. Yeah, I recorded them not in baseline. Yeah. I recorded them at Scram Jones' crib. This is funny. Scram Jones was like, cause I was working with Scram on, so he was like, I ain't feeling recording another nigga beat. I ain't feeling recording another nigga production. You know what I'm saying? I was like, son, this is for the greater the goal project. Like
big picture
shit. And I did Let It P. Let It P was the first. Let It P was the first song I did to Just Blaze beat. Let It P. I did like 4 more songs, and I sent them back, and he was like, "Damn, you did all them songs already?" I was like, "Yeah, you know, I'm hungry. I'm trying to work." And from that point on, he was like, "Yo, let's call your lawyers and shit like that." And then hip hop and G came, and then this is where.
Well, before it went bad, it was good because it was like, I think like I just ran with that because now he gave me a title and I could run with it. So I just
Blaze.
Yeah, before he could even like make a press release about having a label, I was doing press.
Right.
My mixtape tag was your favorite A&R's favorite A&R.
Right.
I was on MTV.
Right.
I was on XXL.
How'd you get on MTV though?
Leo, I got an MTV with Shaheem Reed and his partner at the time. I think he's from Queens.
Yeah, I know you talking about
Haitian.
You talking about Ramon Dukes.
Ramon Dukes. You know what I mean?
Ramon Dukes.